At the 41st conference of the Institute for Chartered Accountants in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, my host today says, and I quote, "The federal government says its recurrent expenditure was 73%. But how do we transform with 25% capital expenditure? That is why we are asking for an amendment to the 1999 Constitution." End of quote. And he wasn't done yet. He went on to say that the federal government increased salaries without consulting governors. Quote, "So we are currently down 35% recurrent expenditure, while our capital is 65%. He concludes by saying the federal government needs to do something. They must prioritize. End of quote. Well, if you're curious, not only is he a member of the ruling People's Democratic Party, he is governor of a major oil-producing state. Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetumobi. Well, if you had any doubts about the powers and position that my host today wields, let me help you put it into context. He's described as simple yet complicated, and some may view his bluntness as arrogance, but that's because they say he's a sharpshooter. Well, when the 59th National Executive Committee of his party, for instance, met to recommend the expansion of the committee by bringing in 72 National Assembly members. That's one senator and one representative each from each of the 36 states, a move viewed by many of the PDP governors as punitive and bound to reduce the enormous influence they wield. My host, a primus inter pares of sorts, for want of a better word to describe him, took the battle and got the party to defer the amendment of the party's constitution till 2014, when the party will hold its mid-term national convention. And when the Sovereign Wealth Fund was to be created, he was at the forefront of the battle to suspend the operation of that fund until all angles had been considered. Well, even though National Assembly went ahead to pass that law on May the 27th, 2012, he says the country does not need a law for a state to make savings for developmental purposes. End of quote. So what manner of man eyeballs his loyalty-demanding party, voicing out his opposition willy-nilly to some of the policies of the federal government driven by his party? What manner of man questions the arbitrariness, he calls it, in the payment of subsidy to not more than 100 Nigerians? So join me after the break. I'm spending all of 60 minutes with His Excellency the Governor and Chief Executive of Rivers State, who incidentally is the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum. Welcome back. Welcome, Governor Amaechi. Thank you for agreeing to spend another 60 minutes with me on the program. So let's start from your name, Rotimi. A lot of people wrote to me the last time after you were on the program to ask whether your mother was Yoruba or from the southwest part of Nigeria.
From Rivers. Mom, dad, yes. Grandmother, grandfather, original Rivers. So where did the Rotimi come from? I thought I had answered this question before. Parents reserve the right to name you whatever they want. So my parents decided to call me Rotimi.
Okay. So let's start in Rivers. I want to start where you're governor and from education. You promised 160 primary schools will be ready by April this year. How far have you gone? This is, we're entering July now.
We've gone beyond that. We're at 250.
250 now?
Yes.
And are they spread around?
Of course.
The whole...
There's not even a space in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
We have a problem of having to get land in Port Harcourt. Today I was in one of the Catholic churches where I had to make an appeal for them to give us a space in that church where they park their cars. To enable us rebuild a primary school around there,
yes,
so that we can accommodate more persons. So it's spread around the entire state. If you take a tour of the entire state, even when you're coming from the airport, most people are not able to know that the airport is not in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
The airport is in the Ikore local government area, which is my local government area. And if you're coming from there, on the right, around the roundabout, you see a primary school. Before the roundabout, on the left, there's a primary school. Before the roundabout too, there's another primary school on the left. Yes. They're all in one community called Iguta, in my local government area. So the primary schools are spread around across the state. The target is to build 750 of those primary schools to be able to accommodate the entire population of the primary school children in Rivers State. Okay. That's the target.
Yes. And how will you compel them to attend the schools?
Well, I would say we want to criminalize education, but we'll punish those who don't take their children to school. Okay. We're coming to look at that law now. We are gradually transiting from brick and mortar to the soft parts, which has to do with the content of education. Yes. We've gone quite far. We've sent a bill to the State Assembly on quality assurance to ensure that all primary schools in Rivers State, especially those of public extraction, would meet that specific requirement that we're going to put in place, and put in place a machinery or a mechanism to inspect the schools, the schools and how it is managed. Yes. And then funds are set aside for its management on a monthly basis. We're looking at the possibility of setting up board of governors in each of the primary schools in the community. Okay. The Executive Council last 2 weeks approved the renaming of those primary schools after leaders in the communities, not necessarily state leaders, but those who have led the communities very well.
And they'll be known to the people there as well.
Exactly. So you can't have an Amaechi being named in a primary school in, say, Calamari, or Buguma town. It has to be somebody from Buguma town who has contributed to either the educational development of that town or somebody who has given the political leadership in that town. And the the school will be named after the person. We've commenced, and luckily in the cabinet that day was quite excited when the cabinet decided that one of the primary schools in Port Harcourt be named after the Commissioner for Education, Miss Alice Nemi. I was delighted. That's the school that the head of the president will commission when it comes to Port Harcourt. Okay.
So, but that's with primary schools. What about secondary schools? There are 7 planned to be ready in September.
Between September and October.
Yes.
That's something I need to find out now from the commissioner, how far they've gone. But that's the target we have. Out of the 24, we must try to commission 7 between September and October this year, so that we can then focus on the remaining. We are building 24 of them, and we want to see how far we can go.
Okay. The free education, will it only be for primary or secondary?
Up to secondary.
Up to secondary. So
from the university, then we can expect that you pay. Well, at the university education level, we are training children on scholarship. People are sent overseas on foreign scholarship. Locally, we also give local scholarship, and we pay bursary. So all that we're doing.
We're taking care of. Okay, one of the questions Clifford Uche wrote in to ask, he says the beautiful infrastructure you're putting in place in Rivers State, will it be backed by laws to ensure its sustainability?
You see, in Nigeria is a very complex and peculiarly Nigerian, put that way, country. It is difficult to answer that or respond to that question. In countries where laws are implemented, the answer would have been yes. Well, actually, the truth is that there's nothing we're doing without a backup of
the law. Yes.
But sometimes people come and not even implement the law. Most people don't even know that there are laws. The problem of the country is not about laws. The laws are in place, huge, numerous volumes of laws, which even those who govern don't even know that they exist. People don't implement. There is a law on electricity we put in place. Even this agriculture we're trying to do now, we'll also put a law in place. But the point is not the law. It's how, is it possible to, a lot of those ones that are commercially viable to sell to private investors so that it's taken out of government and it's sustained. The ones that are not, that are social in nature, like education, put laws in place. I've told you here that we want to go and amend the Universal Basic Education Law to criminalize
not sending one's child.
Whether it's your child or somebody, it can be guidance to somebody. That every child up to the age of primary school must be allowed to go to primary school, and every child up to the age of secondary school must be allowed to go to secondary school. If they don't go, and we discover that, then you should be put in prison.
Yes. Okay,
because education is free, so you can't say the reason why I can't send my child to school is because you're not able to pay. Yes. We're able to provide books, we're able to provide uniforms, we're able to provide sandals, then there's the classroom, and we pay our teachers. So all you need to do is send your child to school. Okay. And the children that are not academically inclined, is there a plan in place to capture them? I don't know if there's any child that's not academically inclined. I'm not an expert in education, but I don't know if there is any child who is not academically inclined. But let's assume there are. Yes. We're looking at vocational education. I think the proper question to ask is, are there those that you can train in terms of skills? Yes. Because that is academics. Yes. It's not necessarily that when you go to grammar school, then you're an academic. It's also that there are those who are scientifically oriented, there's those who are technologically oriented, and those who are who prefer skills to mere classroom academics. And my son says that to me a lot. He says when you talk about education, you forget that even music, those who play music are being educated. Yeah. It's not necessarily when you go to the four walls of a school that you become educated. But we are looking at vocational education. It's key. It's quite important. We're looking at that, and we shouldn't leave government without doing something important in that regard. Okay. That's why our new secondary schools are comprehensive in nature. Okay. There are workshops and all that. Carpentry workshop, welding workshop, and all that. Then you have the labs, physics, chemistry, biology, home economics, and all that. Yes. So they're mixed. Mixed use. Okay, now the Rivers State Power Project. I got letters from some areas, Ngwoba New Layout, Olokuma Village, Ahwada West Local Government Area, and Oigbo Local Government Area. They say those areas, they're not yet benefiting from the Rivers Power Project. Well, they shouldn't forget that the governor can't solve all the problems at the same time. Ngwoba is, Port Harcourt expanded this way. Yes. And when Port Harcourt was developed, I don't think that they envisioned that on its own, the city will grow on its own without necessarily without the intervention of the state government. So as they were developing, they were not going with power. Okay. They were using makeshift power, put it that way. Now we've arrested that development, and we was trying to put power there. If you go to Rumosi, Rumosi is quite close to Ngwoba. After Rumosi, depending on where you approach, if you approach it on the left, it takes you to Zoba and then Ngwoba. Yes. If you approach it to the right, they take you to Lakahia, then Uniport, then Choba, then Zoba, and then Ngwoba. All that area have problems of light, and we've told them to give us till December. We promised the state that by December, we will do everything possible within our human capacity and within the law and the support of the federal government to see if we can have 24-hour power supply in Rivers State. If we don't have, we should be able to have up to 20 hours of power supply in Rivers State. Okay. I mean, at the moment, what is... It's very erratic. Okay. Extremely erratic. You know, when you're here, you will not know whether power is erratic or not, because as governor of the state, you're bound to get lights nearly 24 hours. Okay, so you realize they're partial to you a little bit. A bit. there will be about 2 minutes of power but when you drive around the city, like we do, especially at night, you will see that we don't have power. Our target is, we're doing a lot of injection substations and other substations around the city now. Now we hope that in the next 6 months, there should be huge improvement in power supply. Okay. Because we actually have 150 megawatts in Omoko, we have 130 in Port Harcourt, we have 75 at Onne, which is under construction at Onne. Then we have 180 we just delivered at between Ogoni and Oyibo. And we have awarded a contract for another 180 to Saipem. That's if you put the 180 plus 180, it gives you 360.
And then if already you do that 290 and 75.
By the end of by mid next year, we should be doing 750 megawatts, and the Port Harcourt currently require only 400 megawatts.
Okay, so you even have extra to sell?
Yeah, if you want to. Okay. And we are trying to sell even the assets. We don't want to manage. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you may end up, it may become a state asset that is badly managed because of corruption and all that. So we're looking at the possibility of selling the asset.
Okay, we'll take our first break now. When we come back, we'll dive into health sector. So join us again after the break. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetomobi. Now, Your Excellency, you promised 160 primary health care centers. How many have been done so far?
I think you should be able to ask your friend. She works at the primary health care center now. I don't know, honestly, but I think we've gone beyond 120, 125.
Okay.
The remaining figure, which is 160, we promise them, should be ready in the next few months. In fact, the primary health care board is saying we shouldn't go ahead, that they want to be able to have a grip on the ones we have built. Okay. Because don't forget, as we build, we employ a doctor, we employ nurses, and we deploy them to the health center. Okay. And all that. So they want to, and the doctors are not, they're disciplined, but they're not responsible enough to be found there 24 hours the way we planned and have patients. So what they are doing is to want to put a management procedure in place that allows them focus on the health center individually. So while they are doing that, we are still considering to complete the rest 35 or 40 of them. That can be done in months.
Who are the target people that the health centers are
poor.
Okay.
The poor. That's why you cannot forget we're running free healthcare.
Yes.
The poor.
So they're the first port of call for anyone.
Of course, you don't need to go to the level. We're asking them not to go to the secondary healthcare institutions that are very poorly maintained up to now. Yes. The doctors have met with me and they think I should do something in the area of secondary healthcare. They claim we've done well in the primary healthcare, but they think we should move from there now to the secondary healthcare and then the tertiary healthcare. Yes. In fact, the last meeting I had with them, they were even talking about a college that will train doctors. So they think we could have a medical school. But basically, in the area of health, it depends on if you're free. If you're free, we can take a ride to maybe one primary health care center, any nearby one. I doubt if one of the primary schools will be open, but if it is, if it's not open, we can ask them to open any. I don't know if they will be able to open one today or Sunday. And then 2 of the hospitals were just completed. We have what some South African doctors who came said they're yet to see it in the world. I hope they're saying the truth. They say they've never seen a medical and maxillofacial center like that.
Is that the dental hospital in Port Harcourt and the Kelsey Harrison Hospital?
Those are the 2 hospitals that I would say, if you're available, we can have a look at them. They are well furnished and well equipped. We have outsourced the management of the 2 hospitals.
And that's another question. Why did you hand over to foreign firms?
Because we look at quality of service.
Are you saying we can't offer that?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Okay. But I'm saying that they offered us a better deal when we advertised. We felt that outsourcing is not the solution to poor management of government institutions. You either privatize or you allow your system to manage. But for them to manage, we need to train them or give them an orientation that makes them know that all public institutions or public assets are also private assets to them. Yes. If they deal with public institutions and public assets as if they own them, then we'll be able to move ahead. But until we get there now, just as a temporary solution, we've outsourced the management of an American firm of the 2. And I've been shouting now that the people need to come over and take over because these hospitals have been ready for over 6 months. And it's not been put to use. And I'm being criticized for it. But very well equipped, just because of the fear of management. Yes. And want to reduce the number of patients we take overseas. So with those 2 hospitals, we can then deal with such patients in some of those patients in Nigeria.
Okay, so they will be accessible to anyone who's requiring maxillofacial surgery.
Yes, those ones, yes. But the two hospitals will treat people free of charge, and the state government will pick up the bill.
Okay, so it's free, still free health.
Still free health.
Another free health care. Okay, so on May 22, 2012, about 4 new laws were passed by the State House of Assembly, signed by you. But the one that's caught everyone's eye is the Rivers State Public Officers Holders Payment of Pension Bill 2012.
It's an amendment.
It's an amendment bill, you know, signed into law by you. One of the reasons adduced by the supporters of that bill was that persons who served the state meritoriously, especially governors and deputy governors, will not live in tears or go home empty-handed. Now, if a governor or deputy governor cannot build a house in 8 years, what hope is there for the ordinary doctor? Or the
you know, the problem people have is that, and that's why you make public officers assess public funds. The assumption of Nigerian society is that once you are voted into power, you have access to the public till. You have unlimited access to the public till. So they just assume by now you must be rich overseas, you must have houses, you must have, in fact, they even assume you must have bought private jets that you fly. How many governors after office are rich? But Nigeria has never asked that question.
Well, it doesn't appear that as if they're not rich.
Call one. No, people don't remember that. Now, what are those few ones who get corrupted, or who becomes corrupt, do so for fear of those facilities that we just put in the law. You get to office, you ask yourself, if I leave office, where will I live? Where will I get the money to train my children?
Yes.
Where will I get money to buy a car, maintain a car? What about my security?
Yes, but the point...
So when this law is put in place,
yes,
it then gives a man, it removes that moral obligation. Or, no, it puts on you a moral obligation
yes,
to say, why did you steal? If the state will provide a house for you, provide cars every 4 years
yes,
for you.
I thought they said 3 cars every year.
No, it's not every year, but then you open a car shop.
let me tell you.
I want to sign such a bill into law.
And that's, let me tell you what I have here. 2 houses each.
No, it's not even 2 houses. We reduce it to 1. But that's even the issue. Okay. Go and check the law. Don't always heed to gossip. Don't forget that what is sent to the assembly is different from what comes out. Okay. So what was sent to the assembly,
okay,
but what came out was different from what, because members of assembly asked some basic questions. Do we need our governor to live in Abuja? Do we have to build a house for him in Abuja and then a house for him in Port Harcourt? Yes. Do we need to change cars for him every month or every week? Do we need to give him police? If you are 8 police, why does he need 8 policemen? Why not 2? There are basic questions that they ask, and they reduce some of those things to the number they thought was possible for a governor to have and paid for by the state. Okay.
So what about those, one of the questions, of course, is the deputy governor and the governor are not the only ones who serve meritoriously.
No, don't forget that we're dealing with the Constitution. The Constitution says provide for governor and deputy. Are we going to go above the Constitution and say, okay, provide for governor's wife? Okay, you're right. So governor's wife, deputy governor's wife, nurses and midwives.
No. Members of the legislature, members of the judiciary.
The Constitution did not provide for them.
Yes.
So you can't go above the Constitution.
Yes. Okay, so I was going to say, why didn't the bill, encompass much more than just the governor?
Well, I've told you, it's a constitutional provision. The Constitution says you should make that office pensionable and provide retirement benefits for them.
Yes.
And that's what we've just done.
Okay. Anyway, I saw the response of your aide to that, to the criticism.
I don't know why my aides bother themselves. There's nothing you would do that you won't be criticized. Always hear the other views. There are always 2 views to an issue.
Yes. Well, it's a great thing, you've answered the question I was going to ask. You said you actually tinkered with it before you actually signed it.
A lot.
Okay.
Not me, the State Assembly tinkered with it before they sent it back to us.
Okay.
And don't forget, it's not a government bill, it was a private member bill. So
it was not an executive bill?
No, it wasn't.
It didn't originate from you?
It didn't.
But you were happy with it?
Oh, very happy.
All right. Okay, so if a man, you know, had a certain standard of living before he became a governor, you know, why doesn't he return humbly to that same standard?
You're right. Before I became a governor, I was a speaker. Before I became a speaker, I was living in Dube. Dube is where the poor people live in Port Harcourt. So once I finish as governor, I'll head back to Dube. Would that be what you're asking me to do?
Well, no, not really.
Okay.
Not really. But
having served in a position where you make decisions that have either improved or worsened people's lives, you need to
security.
You need to. I don't know about security, but again, don't forget that when you take decisions as governor, there are a lot of people you step on their toes. You can't be a governor without stepping on toes. You certainly cannot be. There are people's houses we have pushed down for purposes of public good. There are churches that we have had to push down. There are mosques that we've pushed down. There are churches that we've taken their land to build primary schools. So many decisions you've taken. I'm not saying that the governor should be afraid of that. No, I'm not. But I'm saying that somehow, having served as a governor, then the state needs to provide you a little bit of personal security, maybe for a few years. Even me, I may not need it because I get sick and tired of people following me around all the time. True.
But do you think this kind of law, if it's reproduced in every state, will actually stop a person?
I didn't say that. I didn't say it will. I just said then nobody has a moral backing to say, look, I stole because I need to provide X, Y, Z for myself.
Yes.
If you are stealing, then you have a penchant for stealing.
Okay. Okay, but you are consistently rated among the top 4 performing governors in the country and among the top 3 from the 9 Niger Delta states in terms of performance. Yet, you must face challenges. What is your greatest challenge as a governor?
Those rated, what are the indices?
Well, you know, every newspaper.
So you just see a governor, you say, oh, yeah, you're a good governor.
They're doing well. No, they come, they see development in your state,
physical
infrastructure.
You hear that everywhere you go. And I wonder whether they say, I'm sure they say it to every governor, when they say, oh, yes, you're doing well, you're doing well. So I see state governors have been told they're doing well. Which one? Why do some people sit at the back and criticize governors? I don't know how they got to that, what is the basis for it. Because you see, if you want to do that, you must compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. You can't compare apples to oranges. The reason is there are governors who have money, there are governors who don't have money. All of us are performing according to our capabilities and available resources. So they should not evaluate any governor as not performing because possibly the governor does not have the necessary financial backing to do like a Fashola or an Amaechi or an Ababio or an Oduan or anybody. In fact, you have a better skill of management if you have less money.
Well, it makes you less attractive or what?
Yeah, no, but then you're more careful to spend. It's like, I usually tease my friend, the governor of Anambra. They say you're very stingy. And he says he spends calculatively. He has to really know why he needs to spend the money. And he spends it according to the need of the people of Anambra. And the people are happy. So you can't, when people say, oh, this governor is rated as #1, how? Oh, you're doing well. Vis-a-vis, compare the expenditure vis-a-vis the losses. That's what you should do.
All right, we'll take our second break now. Join us again after the break. Welcome back. Now, accept our condolences on the killing of the Rivers State chairman of the All Nigeria People's Party, Julius Nwofu, by unidentified gunmen. Any progress yet in?
No, I wouldn't know. That is actually very serious. At the time you're trying to, you have almost nearly controlled by God's grace the security of the state. Then some slips here and there.
Yes.
The police commissioner has promised a thorough investigation and has assured me that whoever did that will be arrested and prosecuted.
Yes.
So why not we allow the police to do the investigation?
I was just wondering, you know, that incident vis-a-vis your, the recent call of the Governors Forum, of which you're chairman, for state police, you know, now that the forum has come out together to say, yes, it is desirable to have state police, how will we achieve this through the National Assembly, considering the natural suspicion that, you know, exists between state governors and some of their representatives in the National Assembly?
I think that the governors need to explain to the members of the National Assembly and the federal government that we're here to help. The federal government is overwhelmed by the current insecurity, the state of insecurity in the country. And there is a need for the state governors to, first and foremost, what you don't have is in the nomenclature of state police. What the governors are doing, literally funding a lot of security apparatus in the state.
Yes.
So what we're saying is normalize it or formalize it. Formalize that relationship and allow the governors, allow the states, put the restrictions in place.
Yes.
Say they are limited to just crime.
Okay.
And that way, nobody, and make sure that the abuses are not allowed by law,
yes,
so that nobody can. And I assure you that even governors themselves, this is the first time we have agreed that we need a state police. It's because people are overwhelmed
with the security
situation, and we want to be able to assist the police, assist the state government, the federal government, because currently the number of policemen that we have are not enough to police the country. They are underfunded, they are under-equipped.
Yes.
They don't have the kind of equipment that they need. Key to a lot of this crisis is intelligence. If we had enough intelligence, you will know the group that went to kill. Before they even go to kill, you would have identified them. And we will have taken them out by arresting them. Because before they even killed that gentleman, they must have committed other crimes.
Yes.
So you need to equip the Nigerian police. So we thought that, okay, one way to go about it is to assist and reduce the functions of the Nigerian police by outsourcing some of them to the state police. And then when you do that, it reduces how much they need to be able to protect the citizens. You see, when I tell people, I say, I don't think that not building school or water or light or anything constitutes an impeachable offense. What constitutes an impeachable offense by the Constitution is security of lives and property. Because that's the only oath you take. I swear that here I will protect lives and properties. If you are unable to protect lives and property, it's impeachable.
It's an impeachable offense, or it ought to be.
Yes.
It ought to be.
Yes. So now, if we have sworn on oath to protect lives and properties as governors, then it is necessary for the state, and when I say state, not Rivers State, the state as a nation, to give us the apparatus by law for which we can protect these lives and properties and make our cities more conducive for business and for habitation. Now, you look at it and say, yes, that's not the solution to insecurity. I agree 100%. Because for me, the solution to insecurity is to abate poverty, to reduce poverty.
Yes.
Yeah, so once you reduce poverty, crime will also reduce. And how do you reduce poverty? You reduce poverty by ensuring that the economy is productive. Once people are working and producing and earning their income, selling and buying and doing all sorts of things, then nobody has time to look for a Mrs. Angela to foment.
Yes.
But once there's no money to feed, then Angela becomes a potential for
a business. Okay, so how does it work? If you want to give directive to the Commissioner of Police in your state, does he take your instruction, or
you don't give a directive to him because he's not your staff. He's the staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So if you send for him, he doesn't have to come.
If he doesn't want to, what will he do? You have no constitutional power over the Commissioner of Police. You see the problem?
Yes.
So if the state says my governor must protect me, they must also give me the power to
be able to protect me.
Them. If I don't have it, then how do I protect them? I'm naked and bare.
Yes. Okay, so I want to take you back now to the fuel subsidy brouhaha and the accusation at the time, or since then, against the governors that you all backed down from supporting
that can be correct. That can be correct.
Anybody who abandoned the president.
That can be correct. I've told the president that that will be very unfair to the governors, and he agrees. There were only 2 governors who made comments against fuel subsidy.
Yes.
But there are 36 of us.
So they were in minority.
They were not even a minority. Because if they were just 2,
yes,
and we are 34, and all of us spoke on behalf of the president in our different states,
yes,
kept vigil, kept awake to ensure that nothing was disrupted. I addressed the labor union in Rivers State on behalf of the federal government, on behalf of the president, and on behalf of Rivers State. Okay. And I said to them to be rest assured that the federal government is doing this for the interest of the nation. Okay. And I continue to say it that the president's decision on oil subsidy removal was the best anybody could have done for this country. It was a sacrifice he was making for the country, and we would have just bought into it. Imagine how, now that National Assembly is saying the total expenditure of oil subsidy was 2.8 trillion. Nobody can tell you how much was fraudulently collected. Let's assume that we'll go by the National Assembly documentation that says it's 1.8 trillion. Yeah. The budget for the federal government on works, the works budget is 1.3 trillion. Alone. So imagine out of the, if it is true that 1.8 trillion was stolen, that we actually recovered the 1.8 trillion and invested it in capital projects, this country will be moving. So for the president to say, listen, gentlemen, we must stop this spate of corruption by taking away oil subsidy. Then you are saving huge amount of money for the country. That's one. Secondly, you would have generated that part of the economy that will produce refineries. And there will be competition that will possibly bring down the cost of fuel. And that, once you put refineries in place, what happens? You employ. So you are creating employment. And it's just not, it wouldn't just be refineries, there will be ancillary things that will follow.
Services that will
follow. And then employment will be created. So what the president was doing, and which we did to support him 100%, was to create vibrancy in the economy and make it more productive.
Are you looking at setting up refineries in
How can you set up refineries with this oil subsidy that they put in place? What is that? You can't. That's the point. If Nigeria, when Nigerians say, oh, go and build refinery, build refinery for what? The refinery will not be competitive
with other world
it will
refineries.
Not. It's like producing in Nigeria and producing in Ghana. In Ghana, you have water, you have roads, you have light, you have everything. Right?
Yes.
Okay. In Nigeria, you don't have any of those things. So if you want to produce, you have to have your own water, your own light, your own road, your own security, and everything. So you pay for those things. The goods produced in Nigeria will not be competitive to the goods produced in Ghana.
So as we speak, it's still not attractive to have refineries here?
Yes, until you remove the oil subsidy. What attraction is that? Why haven't they built one since the federal government started talking about there will be refineries in Nigeria? Yeah. The only way you can get private, I don't know about government, but the only way you can get private refineries in Nigeria is to remove oil subsidy completely. And that's what the governors backed. It was a huge sacrifice the president was making for the country, and would have supported the president.
Okay. And you also admitted, you said that you asked the question, how can we transform with 25% capital expenditure? That's with the admitted 73% the federal government says it has. But you want an amendment to the Constitution to that effect. What essentially are you asking for?
I'm not sure I was quoted right.
Okay.
But it's not my business how federal government manages their money.
No,
what the federal government said was that the current expenditure is 73 or in the neighborhood of 70s.
Yes.
That's huge. That means you're left with between 25 and 30% in capital expenditure. That will move the economy. That won't grow the economy. That won't grow the nation. Something needs to be done. But I'm not sure I want to interfere into how the federal government manages their business.
You know, and it's statements like this surprise a lot of people because they think that because you're in the PDP, the federal government is of the PDP, it sounds like a criticism of the abilities of the...
Then I'm being misunderstood. Okay. Did Goodluck Jonathan create this? The answer is no. He inherited it. It was there before. Did PDP create this? The answer is no. We inherited it. So the only thing the PDP can do is to see how much you can push and get the understanding and buy-in of the public to begin a gradual reduction in this. And that includes the number of staff that they have and how much you pay as salaries. Yes. We should not allow labor unions to continue to ask us to increase salaries every day. Because the more salaries you increase, the more recurrent expenditure that you have. Yes. So it's not a Goodluck Jonathan's problem.
Yes.
It is a problem he inherited.
Okay.
And every day, that he wakes up, Labour is harassing him, asking him that he must increase their salary. He was there in Obasanjo, he was there in Babangida, he's been there all over. So when I make this comment, people say, oh, he's criticizing. Why would I criticize PDP? I'm a member of PDP. I may be a progressive member of PDP, but I'm a member of PDP. And I'm not criticizing PDP. I'm only saying that these problems have been there for only God knows how, when.
Okay. And you said also that state houses of assembly will not pass any amendments which did not have the inputs of the people. So what kind of amendments is the forum looking for in this constitution?
I can't speak on behalf of the forum now because we've not met to decide what we need to put in the constitution outside the state police that we decided. Okay. But what I can speak as myself is that I've told the members of the National Assembly who came to Rivers State to do their retreat that you can't be addressing such issues as public service reform and all that when we are talking about fundamentals like true federalism, state police, revenue formula, and all that. Should the state government not have more money to be able to run the states, since people live in the state? Should we not talk about that? This is a country where the exclusive list has 68 items, and then we have about 18 items in the concurrent list. When it should be the reverse: 18 items in the exclusive, 68 in the concurrent list. So those are issues that the National Assembly needs to address. And I've told them that this is a moment of history. The success of failure, the success of failure of this nation is right there in the palms of members of the National Assembly. And it's either they fail or they succeed. And I know they are young men. They are very progressive young men. And we will, by God's grace, achieve it. That's what I think.
All right, we'll take another break. Now, when we come back, we'll look at the state's peer review mechanism. Join us again after the break. Welcome back. Now, Your Excellency, you said the state's peer review mechanism headed by former CJN. They've done Niger State, they've done Anambra State. Have they been to Rivers State yet?
When they say done, they've not. It's a long process. It's not an easy process. The only process they've completed is Anambra. Okay. And they've completed Anambra, and the wonderful score that they have in Anambra. And they have
but I thought there was not going to be, there were not going to be scores.
No, what I mean by score is that they have seen more progress than they have seen failures. Okay. So they identify, see, you're doing this very well. This is wonderful. Here, there are some things you need to review and amend and all that. Yes. After that, they will go to Ekiti and conclude Ekiti, and I think head to Niger. They've come to Rivers State for sensitization. Okay. After that, they will visit us again in July, where they will set the parameters by which it will be assessed, and then one more visit for the assessment. Okay. That's what they will do. They'll come to Rivers State.
Okay, why don't we want positions? You know, why don't we give positions of who's doing best? I know that there are variations in the money available.
But that's what you're saying. So
yes, but
you can't compare oranges to apples. If you say who is doing better than the other, then you must give everybody equal amount of money. Yes,
but if you consider the parameters, if you have difficult terrain, you have more money, but another state doesn't have that kind of terrain.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say. First, you have to encourage governors to. What are our objectives? Our objective is that I hear Ondo is doing well in terms of health. Yes. Especially in the content, not in the brick and mortar. Yes. So what can I learn from Ondo State? Okay. The objective or the essence of setting up the peer review mechanism is to share knowledge and ideas. Okay. So if Ondo is doing very well, and Ondo is a small state without much money, why can't I, with my money, borrow the idea from Ondo and ensure that Rivers people benefit from that idea? Okay. If we all do that in our different states, then our people will be benefiting. Okay. That's the idea. Not to score, oh, okay, you from Sokoto, you are number one, and everybody is clapping for you. That's player politics.
That's what people want to see.
But you don't achieve anything there. Yes. You achieve something if tomorrow I go to Sokoto and there's agriculture everywhere, and I ask him, what is the mechanism by which you've achieved this agricultural progress? Yes. And he tells me 1, 2, 3, 4. I copy it to Rivers State and make that same progress. I have created employment, I've given food security. That is better than up Sokoto number one.
Yes. Okay. Now, the Garden City, you know, bidding to be the first sub-Saharan African country to be designated UNESCO World Book Capital 2014. What does that mean, World Book Capital?
We think that those who came up with the idea felt that we've had a lot of progress in the area of education. And to encourage our children to continue to read, we need to get the attention of the world and UNESCO to Rivers State in terms of educational achievement and our contribution to that effect. So, and then it becomes a pressure too on the state government to do more in the area of education. So we felt we should compete and see if we win.
Yes. And how's that going?
Well, I don't know. We'll put in our bid.
Okay.
And I hope
among
we'll be successful.
other
countries in the world. I hope we'll be successful.
All right.
I don't know if we're the only country in Africa. I'll find out.
No, there's Cameroon.
Oh, that's Cameroon.
Yes, Cameroon is the other country.
I hope they don't beat us.
Well, what will it mean generally for Rivers State if that comes to you in 2014?
After you, we'll review what we've contributed in education, see what progress we need to put more in place, get the world to focus on what we are doing, see how much people can contribute all over the world to ensure that by 2015 we'll have had more achievement in the area of education than we plan to have.
Okay. And you say you don't want to have a hand in who will be your successor, but you doubt you will impose any candidate. That's your quote. I doubt I will impose any candidate. Why doubt? Is it because it is tempting to be a kingmaker of sorts?
No, you know, anywhere you go, any part of the state, when we start the town hall meetings, I will want you to join. Yes. You will hear the citizens cry. Please don't leave without putting somebody who appreciates your vision, so that they can continue with what you've started. That's what you get virtually in every part of the state you go to. You go to a church service, you hear that. You go to miracle centers, you hear that. You go to...
What are you doing in miracle centers, Your Excellency?
Seeking miracles. You go to schools. Occasionally I go to primary schools. I do. And the children are excited, they want to see you. And
they talk to you?
They do. I went to church this morning, and I sat just by the door. And the kids that were passing were like, hey, see Amaechi, see Amaechi. They're excited.
Yes.
Okay, so you want to live, and the citizens want to live, or see you live with the belief that you have seen in your team somebody who has the same vision as you, hoping that the person will continue from where you will have stopped.
Yes.
And they don't want you to leave and put in place a person who would continue, who will say, oh, this was Amaechi's ideas, let me go with my own ideas. You have retinue of projects that will not be completed. So they think that, oh, please put somebody in place. And I say, no, the law will decide who takes over. It certainly can be by the wisdom of a man.
Yes.
There are two factors to who becomes the governor of Rivers State. And people shouldn't forget that.
What are the two factors?
God, number one. Don't forget how I came.
Yes.
Number two, the people and the law.
The people and the law. Yes, but you also said that experience has shown that where an outgoing leader selects who will succeed him, it often turns out that the duo will fall out with each other, thereby leading to friction. So I'm taking this to mean that one, your predecessor selected you, and two, you fell out with him, leading to friction. So is the friction still there, if you agree?
No, I don't agree with that concept.
Okay.
Don't forget that I told you here that I came here by the grace of God.
Yes.
So unless you're saying I've fallen out with God, that will frighten me. I'm too small a man to... I should be lying and kneeling down before God all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not falling out with God. My predecessor, who was my former boss, I still call him my boss. Because you see, I passed through him after I left the university. I met him. From youth service, I met him. And then up to I became governor. He was part of the process, and God used him to put me through the process until God finally said, okay, now I showed how mighty I am as God, and then I put you by myself. You can't say that we have any friction any longer. There could have been some basic disagreements on mere issues, which we ended up resolving, and seem to be working together now. That's where we are.
Where you are now. Okay, so surely you must favor somebody. I mean, you know, you must have, among your team?
I favor you. Don't you want to be governor of Rivers State?
I'm not from Rivers State.
No, you need to, by law, once you live here for 5 years, if you show evidence of having paid your tax for 5 years,
okay,
then I can favor you to run.
So what's this Ikwere agenda? People write to me about that. They say you have an Ikwere agenda. What is that?
Even Ikwere people won't accept that I have an Ikwere agenda. Believe me, I don't know, let the person say what it means by Ikwere agenda. Ikwere agenda will be that you do only the things that are pleasing to Ikwere people.
Okay.
That's what it will mean. Okay. There are no primary schools that are in the Ikwere land that is not in any other place. Go to my village, there is no road to my village now. It's now that we've just managed to award a contract to my village. And meanwhile, before I became a governor, I used to criticize governors who won't do projects in their communities. Because when you leave, then the community won't have opportunity of having those projects again. So you must do it as soon as you step in. But I stepped in 4 years after. We don't have any road. We don't have water. The power that the electricity that is there was done that totally. Okay, we managed to put a primary school there and the health center, but totally had done a general hospital. Beyond that, nothing that I have done for my people. And they've been asking me. Yes. When you were a speaker, you were determined to do something in this community. Now that you're a governor, you've done nothing. And I've been telling them, just calm down, by God's grace, we will try and conclude the things.
So the Ikwere agenda, possibly people suspect
that what?
You want to hand over to another Ikwere man?
It's also not possible. Okay. There are other communities in Rivers State. You must give everybody a fair opportunity to compete. And Ikwere people should not try it. Because God has blessed them. Yes. Rivers people have also blessed them to govern the state. So they should give others a chance to govern. I don't think that an Ikwere people will want to run for governorship. I don't think so. I don't think that they will want to run. So if that's what they mean by Ikwere agenda, then they may not be right. Because up to as I'm talking to you, I've not heard of any Ikwere man who wants to be governor. Okay.
It's kind of, they all kind of know. All right, so on a lighter note now, when new entrants join the forum, it's just something I've been thinking about. You know, is it an awkward moment if a new governor comes in, considering maybe he didn't do the 8 years? It was, you know, another person came and won the election before he could do a second term. Is it awkward when a new governor joins the forum?
It just joins and starts from where his predecessor stopped.
Okay.
There are no hidden issues in the governor's forum. They are all issues that affect the nation. So we discuss it. That's all.
Okay. All right. I want to thank you very much for finding time again, Governor Amaechi, for coming on the program. Don't forget, you can join me on Facebook. You can like 60 Minutes with Angela on Facebook. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter, Angela at 60 Minutes. Well, I'll see you same time, same day, same station. You never know who I'll be spending 60 Minutes with. I'm Angela Ajetomobi, and I thank you for the pleasure of your company.